I want to talk about a hip-hop album released in the mid-2010s by a rap legend and a young new jazz group. In 2015, Ghostface Killah and BadBadNotGood teamed up to release an album called Sour Soul. The album is an innovative blend of jazz and hip-hop, a beautiful marriage of BBNG's lush instrumentation with Ghostface's iconic flow and lyrics. To me, this stands out as a rare and brilliant hip-hop album by two creative forces in peak form. I'm surprised it hasn't made more of an impact culturally and artistically. Before diving into why I think it's such a banger of an album, let's first take a look at the people that made it. BadBadNotGood are a Canadian instrumental group known for their distinctive blend of jazz, psychedelia, and hip-hop music. At the time of recording Sour Soul, their lineup consisted of Alexander Sawinski on the drums, Chester Hansen on bass guitar, Matthew Tavares on keys, and Leland Whitty on saxophone. They've released 6 studio albums over a 10-year span, often collaborating with industry luminaries such as Frank Ocean, Kendrick Lamar, Thundercat, Kate Renata, El Sweatshirt, and more. The other creative force in this collaboration is famed hip-hop artist Ghostface Killah, who was one of the founding members of the iconic collective Wu-Tang Clan. After Wu-Tang's huge commercial and popular success in the 90s, many of the members, including Ghostface, went on to pursue solo careers. Sawinski describes in an interview how the two artists came together to make this album. When we played our first show in Toronto, we met this guy, Frank Dukes. We started a little connection there, and then we had this idea for a project to potentially record these instrumentals for an album with Ghost. We just met up, and for 4 days we wrote and recorded songs every day, referenced different recordings, and just vibed out. That was the birth of the project and the connection with Ghost, the reason the whole thing started to roll through. One of the most fascinating aspects of Sour Soul is the fusion of jazz and hip-hop. This isn't anything groundbreaking, there's a well-documented and interesting history between these two genres inspiring one another over time. Most people's idea of jazz and hip-hop intersecting are producers creating beats out of samples of old jazz tracks. What is a little more rare, however, is live jazz instrumentation backing up a hip-hop artist. And the live instrumentation on Sour Soul is essential to how the album established its sound and identity, and the choice to favor it over sampling is what sets the album apart from so many others. This is an impromptu PSA to please subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Thank you. In a lot of the interviews with BadBadNotGood, the band members often talk about the process of trying to find the right sound and vibe for the music to accompany Ghostface's rapping. The Wu-Tang star is a big fan of utilizing soul and pop samples from the 60s and 70s, so BBNG basically just had this in mind when writing a lot of their parts. If we take a listen to tracks like Stark Reality, the rich strings and punchy bass evoke that exact time period Ghostface is so fond of. I think there are obvious nods in the instrumentation to Wu-Tang's grimy, smoky brand of hip-hop as well. If we take the opening of Mind Playing Tricks, you could easily picture it being a sampled beat for a Wu-Tang song. BadBadNotGood were able to seamlessly tap into different aesthetics of music to build Sour Soul's identity, and this also extends to some of the notable guest stars. 6 Degrees has this hypnotic lead riff that fits perfectly with Danny Brown's off-kilter style. And Raygun is a fun, poppy number featuring the legendary MF Doom. The instrumentation here wouldn't be out of place on one of his own albums like Food.
Both hands crusty, need a little lotion. That shit don't matter when I mix the color ocean. Smoking on potent, Jones bagging up in a living room.
Overtime jerk and Warren go for mine. In the dance hall, play the wall like handball till his pants fall. Crawl to last call, loose cannon, screw strip, off the rip.
When keyboardist Matthew Tavares spoke about the process of writing Raygun, we can see the band's keen focus on curating a distinct style for the music. With that one, we were listening to a lot of Brazilian music at the time, and that's why I think it's got that forward movement, funky feel. That's basically what the influence for that was. Yeah, I guess it has like a 70s pop song vibe as well. They put Doom in contact with us, we sent them the instrumentals. We wanted to create something that would feel like a clash of both worlds. Doom sampling everything from Brazilian to soul music to weird psych shit, and Ghost being more of a soul base of sample selections. We tried to cross-pollinate 2 little ideas there. BBNG's music is simultaneously nostalgic and fresh, alluding to familiar styles but injecting them with a raw vibrancy. Another added benefit of live instrumentation is the smoothness and flow of the compositions. Some hip-hop producers that use samples and beats create tracks that can feel very modular and repetitive, as they're essentially using looped sounds. This isn't always the case, of course, but it's worth highlighting that BadBadNotGood's instrumentation sounds more slick and human, especially live. The polished music acts as a counterpoint to Ghostface's quintessentially raw and gritty flow, with his lyrics covering themes of religion, spirituality, the modern world, and more. In many of the tracks, Ghostface references his recent conversion to Islam and how it's affected his outlook and worldview. This excerpt from Nuggets of Wisdom plainly outlines how his religious discovery has had an effect on him.
From the righteous minds of the law, he powers my soul, teaching me positivity in the whole, how to walk amongst the evil and smile in the face of death, to speak knowledge and wisdom to my last breath.
To contrast the frequent mentions of religion and the traditional values it infers, Ghostface also discusses the corrupt and sour nature of the modern world in the track Sour Soul.
My mind races from the satellite dishes, no technology, this world's corrupt.
He adopts a critical and paranoid view of the world in this track, going on to mention microchips in medication, steroids in chickens, and fluoride in the water. Throughout the tracks, there are a multitude of references to Wu-Tang Clan members and lore, such as in Gun Showers, where he mentions bugged like Bob Digital, fly visual, this being a reference to Wu-Tang member RZA's alter ego Bobby Digital, and later Supreme Clientele, I'm a Goddamn Vocalist, Supreme Clientele being the name of Ghostface's second album, which was released in 2000. This is just my reading, but I feel the lyrical themes portray a traditional and nostalgic way of living that's been soured by modern day ideals. I think this is what the album title references too. The music ties in interestingly here, as it's clearly rooted in 60s, 70s aesthetics, so perhaps the album is seeking to celebrate this nostalgia whilst also acknowledging it's been corrupted. Sour Soul is a standout album that successfully fuses jazz and hip-hop to create a sound that is both innovative and evocative. Its exceptional production quality, varied stylistic identity, and musicianship contribute to it being one of the most underrated gems in the hip-hop pantheon.
Oh, shit! 1, 2, 2! Yeah. Okay. Bad, bad, not good. 1, 2. Yeah.
Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, it's really appreciated. Please do drop a like and subscribe, and let me know what you think about this album in the comments below. Thank you.